to another video with COC tips with CRL. Now today's video I will not be giving any tips or any guides. I will just be going over the recent balance changes for their hero equipment coming in. I would say it's going to be the February season, so I think it's happening in like 14 days I think at the top of my head. So this is a post made from Supercell on January the 22nd, 2025, saying hero equipment balance changes. Hello Chief, in the Hello Chief. Oh goodness gracious me. Hello Chief. In the February update, we will roll out a set of balance changes to a few hero equipment along with the invisibility spell. However, we wanted to give you all a heads up just first so you know which hero equipment are being changed along with the reason why. Make sure to read the information below for better understanding of what's coming. So, starting off, the Barbarian King Vamp Stash. So the Vamp Stash is getting a DPS increase. So from level 1 from 9 DPS to 10 DPS. So this is the passive stats that come with the hero equipment. And then at level 18. We've got 68 damage going all up to 120. So by the looks of it, it is getting at least a 100% increase for all levels, pretty much in total. And the reasoning behind it, it says it's nothing. Vamp Stash has always had a small but loyal group of fans, and honestly, it's a cool bit of equipment. But it's been overshadowed by other options for the king. With this buff, we're hoping more players will give it a shot and find it fun and a viable choice. Now go down. So now with the Barbarian Puppet getting a HP increase. What products of it is a 10% increase for every level. So this is again the base stats for the Barbarian King if you select the Barbarian Puppet as a hero equipment. So level 1 is going from 281 all the way to 309, whereas level 18 is going from 3000 to 3336 as well. The health recovery is being increased for the Barbarian King by 10% for each level. So level 1 going from 100 to 110, and the level 18 is going from 1260 to 1386. Now the reason behind this, we've made this equipment a bit stronger, so it feels like a more solid starter option for players just coming out with the king equipment. So I'd say this is more aimed at like the new players, like the Town Hall 9 and 10s that don't have that many hero equipment options because they don't have the epic equipment. The Queen doing the same thing happening with her with the DPS and health recovery, 10% health recovery increase for her. Level 160 to 176, and level 18 440 to 484. DPS increase 26 to 28, not very high increase, but level 18 doing 144 to 159. So this is about a 10% increase for every level, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same reasoning. What does it say? Similar to the Barbarian Puppet, we're making this equipment more viable as a starter option for players experimenting with the Queen's equipment. So that's the reason behind that. The buff. DPS increase. So the Life Gem is getting 3 buffs. It's getting its DPS increase, a HP increase, as well as a max HP increase. So the DPS increase is approximately a 10% increase for every level. Level 10 going from 10 damage, 10 DPS increase to 11. Whereas level 18 going from 66 all up to 73, so it's not a huge jump for the Warden. HP increase is about a 10% for every level, going from 150 to 165, all up to 441 to 485 at level 18. Now, the max HP increase, so this is how much, so that HP increase was the HP for the Warden, whereas this max HP increase is for the max HP that the Life Gem can give to troops. So level 1 to 2, it is going from 330 all up to 510. And if you have a look, level 6 to level 8, it starts off at 510. So we're getting it's getting a huge buff for its total for its total HP increase, and level 18 is going from 870 to 1050. Now this reasoning, Life Gem has been lagging behind compared to the other Warden equipment. This buff is aimed at making it a more solid choice, especially for armies with bigger troops that take up more housing space. We want it to feel like a better fit for more attack strategies. So my guess is because the Life Gem is only used for any small HP troop armies. For example, a Lalo or Hybrid, which is Hog Miners, or maybe even Valkyries, for example, or like Witches maybe. But like the Rage Gem or like the Healing Tome have just outshadowed it completely because they just bring so much more to the playing field, whereas they're trying to get you to use the Life Gem maybe for like Valkyries or I don't know, maybe dragons or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what armies they're talking about, but that's just my guess and what they're trying to achieve. And then the HP increase is getting the Royal Gem is getting a HP increase of 50% for every level. So level 1's going from 40 to 60. So that's the base DPS passive stats for the Royal Champion when you equip the Royal Gem equipment, all the way up to 380 to 570 at level 18. So it's a pretty big jump. Then the DPS increase is a big jump at first, and then starts to die down a bit. But level 1 is from 20 all up to 35 DPS, whereas level 100 is from 105 to 120. So it's nothing amazing, but they're just adding a bit more DPS and HP. And their reasoning: Royal Gem has the lowest use rate and hit rate of all Royal Champion equipment. Even though it's a common equipment, we think it deserves a little more love. This buff should make it a more useful option, especially for players in early game or lower equipment levels. So they're pretty much just making it a bit. So with all these buffs, they're pretty much just trying to even out the playing field a little bit for like any of the new Town Hall, any of the new Hero Town Hall players, like level 8, level 9, level 10, where you unlock the heroes, level 11 with the Warden and level 13 with the RC. But they're just trying to make it a bit more even, I guess you could say. Now the nerfs, I've been waiting for this one for a while. The Earthquake Boots are getting a huge nerf. So they're getting a damage. So this is the damage from the Earthquake Boots. So for example, looking at this, level 9 to 11 does 40% of a building's damage. So 40% of a building's HP is lost when using the Earthquake Boots. And when you pair the Earthquake Boots with the Spiky Ball, you can one-shot nearly everything. So yeah, so it's a pretty big nerf to it. So it's getting from 40 to 34, and then level 18 is going from 60 to 40. So you're only getting a 6% building HP damage buffer. So it's a huge nerf to it, and the ability will not kill skeletons anymore. So for example, like when there's like a shockwave with the Earthquake Boots, that if skeleton traps spawned, the Earthquake Boots would destroy the skeletons, which means now that your king might get stored up on the skeletons when Poppy is building, etc, etc. So the Fireball, I'll just read it. The Earthquake Boots paired with the Spiky Ball turned into an unbeatable combo for high Town Hall levels. We're reducing the damage to buildings on the Earthquake Boots, so they still do the job of breaking open compartments, but they now won't completely destroy everything when paired with the Spiky Ball. Also, the ability will no longer affect skeletons, so the king might get distracted more often, making the ability feel more balanced. Now, the Fireball is getting a nerf. Now you're probably thinking, what is this radius thing, and why only level 18 to 23? So it means that the fireball radius when from level 18 to 23 pretty much means that the radius of the fireball is, instead of being 6 tiles, is now 5 tiles. Now the reasoning for this is because hard mode, all the pros in hard mode when they use fireball, it's capped at level 18 because that's the level cap for hard mode, and it's also for some of like the pros. And obviously we do what it says. So the Grand Warden's epic equipment fireball. We've moved the last radius upgrade to a high equipment level. This change is not aimed at keeping things this change is aimed at keeping things fair in competitive play, so the fireball doesn't feel overpowered in the meta. That's for that. Now the RC boots are getting I'll say it's a pretty big nerf, but I don't think it'll be super duper like it'll make them dead and not be used. So the self healing is getting a nerf. For example, level 15, going from 34 to 33 self healing, whereas level 27 is going from 60 down to 45. So it's a 25% decrease. And then the aura damage is from level 1 is going from 137 to 132, whereas level 27 is going from 250 down to 200. Now I know that my boots are at level 18, level 20. I'm pretty sure. So instead of doing 212, they're going to do 177 DPS with the aura for around buildings. So the RC charge won't get as much value, or like it'll still get like amazing value. It just won't be as like you can destroy 30% of a base with RC and invisibility spell. So that leads into the next nerf is this invisibility spell. So the reason this is getting nerfed is because people are using it with RC charges and getting way too much value, like so much value. And another reason, which probably won't affect many of my listeners, but at Town Hall 16 and 17, people are doing the RC charge with the Spirit Fox. Now the Spirit Fox makes the hero invisible. I forgot what the spacing is for the period that it makes it invisible, but if you can play it correctly, your RC, once you place invisibility, then you can have it like link up with the Spirit Fox invisibility, so you can use like maybe 4 invisibilities, but you get like 8 invisibilities out of the whole thing because of the Spirit Fox. Because the Spirit Fox would link up with the invisibility spell duration, so they're trying to just reduce it slightly. So then the RC then it's slightly more risky and not as groundbreaking. Sorry, nearly lost it there. So I'll read to you. World Champions Epic Equipment Electro Boots. The Electro Boots have been a bit too strong, becoming the most used equipment in the game. We're toning it down to make it more balanced, especially now that invisibility spell duration is also being slightly reduced by 0.25 seconds per level. Even with these changes, the Electro Boots will still work well with multiple invisibility spells, but they won't be as overwhelming, so defenses stand a better chance. And yeah, so that's the reason behind that, and there's a small part down the end. Additionally, we know there's several of you asking for a buff to the Grand Warden's Epic Hero Equipment Lava Loon Puppet. We've considered this, and we can see that the Lava Loon Puppet has a low use and hit rate right now, but we're holding off on buffing it for a couple of reasons. For those who've upgraded this equipment, it can be pretty strong, especially with dragon attacks. And in the past, we've seen that some equipment takes a bit of time for players to unlock, upgrade, and fully explore its potential. For now, we want to give a few more months to see how things play out, but don't worry, it's definitely on our radar. So what I believe now with these changes, I believe that the Spiky Ball and Earthquake boot combination is still going to be amazing, but I saw on a post that if you want to one-shot buildings, especially at the higher town hall level, it is best to take an earthquake spell just to place on, like, for example, like the Inferno Towers or the Monoliths or the Eagle Artillery or something like that, because the earthquake boots don't do as much damage anymore now. Instead of doing 60 damage, they now do 40 percent damage. So if you bring an earthquake spell, then it'll help you to finish off those buildings. So yeah, so if you are using the earthquake boots and you want to get extra value, or you want to get the same value that you did now, once these balance changes come, I would suggest bringing an earthquake spell as a just in case. You don't have to, but it's just if you want to get down like those Inferno scatter shots, expose the ricochet cannons once you get to Town Hall 16, I think it is. Yeah. So yeah, that is what I believe. Oh, and last but not least, I believe that the RC charge will still be viable. It just won't be as overpowering. Overpowering and game breaking. But I believe it'll still be useful and like it should be an amazing thing to use. But I don't think it will be as overpowering and game breaking as it was on its release. Now, thank you for listening to today's video, and I hope to see you guys in future videos.